What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Try Time Podcast, episode number 50. I'm Matt.
And I'm Callum.
And Super League has officially restarted.
Yeah.
It's been a long time coming. The Premier Class is back in competition. A little bit to go yet for the Championship League 1, but you know they're in full 1895 swing. And we know it's Super League season because it's time for the somewhat mostly annual Aussie pilgrimage. So in terms of today's episode then, what we thought we'd do, a little bit of touch on round one, what's happened, what's the big controversies, shout out also to potentially one club that caused a massive upset, and, you know, with the Aussies in town, it'd be rude not to give them a bit of attention and flex the World Club Challenge, see what's going on over there. I am, of course, joined by Gile. Have you got any?
Oh yeah, Pod Gile is on. I think, we just jump into the big controversy, really.
I mean, I guess just before we get with controversies, I just want to touch on the surprise result of the round, which was not, funnily enough, the whole derby, which we did attend. Match day vlog on the channel from Saturday. Go check that out if you haven't already. And yeah, you can see what happens when we bring a different guest onto our rugby league world, who, funnily enough, also joined him as the Canada Goose double. So check that one out if you haven't, guys. And yeah, Lee losing at home wasn't on the cards, especially when you look at our predictions.
No, I think that was the only game that probably went against the bookies' favourites. I'd imagine it would be, wouldn't it?
Probably. I mean,
I know Catalan's Warrington war.
I'm going to say that's probably kind of the one where you maybe didn't have as clear a favourite, and you know we kind of thought that, didn't we? We all put those two pretty close together.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, shout out to Huddersfield for that one. Going over to the Lee Sports Village and causing a big upset. I think they lost Ipape quite early on, I think, mentioned.
Yeah, and that's going to be a big layoff, I think. It's a knee ligament injury. It's going to be like 6 weeks, potentially.
That could be costly for Lee.
I mean, he's the best player, I think, at Lee, isn't he?
He's certainly up there.
And in terms of that position, the most important, because I don't think they've got...
They've not got the depth.
You know, we talk about Warrington, they've got 3 hookers. Lee ain't got that sort of luxury.
Is this in the squad or just generally in the town street corners?
Oh, I've got more than that there.
It's Cheshire, you know, it's quite classy in parts.
Well.
But yeah, it's a big worry for Leeds losing Ipape, but also let's not take away from Huddersfield there.
Oh no, definitely not. No.
It's still not an easy job to finish that, and obviously we both were quite sceptical about their squad heading into the season, especially looking at last year, and you know, Watson's historically been quite a regimented coach. It's a big win for them, and actually, have we all underestimated them this season looking at that squad?
They've kind of flew under the radar a bit, haven't they? No one's really talking about them, but I mean... In
fairness, that might be because they've got less fans to shout about them.
No, maybe so, but I think they have stuff like gone under the radar. Them overseas signings that they've made, I mean, Clune, from what I saw, looked good. And he obviously having a good halfback. Overseas halfbacks is one of them positions where they can be great, but majority of the time they can be shit. Let's be honest. Well, how many shit halfbacks have come over? But if he can be the part, then they could be laughing.
All I'm going to say is, do you remember our Lee season preview? Was it? I can't remember if it was on YouTube or something else, when we were basically both had our knowledge questioned, let's say, over whether Moylan would be a 100% guarantee to hit the Super League running.
Yeah.
This is what we're talking about. The bloke has been a very class player down in the NRL. But this isn't the first time we've seen class NRL players come to Super League, and for whatever reason, it's not worked.
Yeah, I mean, look at English. I know he was absolutely past it when he came, but he's one of the best NRL players of the last...
The problem is English had already been medically retired down under before he took that. I'd be looking more at your Tyrone Roberts and stuff for people that, or your Bryson Goodwins that have come over and probably not
being
hit the heights necessarily that you would have expected based on the name alone.
Yeah, that's probably fair, to be fair, yeah. But and that's not saying that Moylan isn't going to be great and that he wasn't good. I mean, he assisted with a grubber through for Charnley's try at the week. So I don't think it was like Moylan looked shit or anything.
No.
But it is kind of showing that on the day Clune were better. And no one were talking about Clune, everyone were talking about Moylan. I imagine Clune's not on the money that Moylan's on.
I imagine they're one of one Vunu cards sold for different prices.
Yeah, well, definitely, yeah. I mean, probably Moylan's probably come out with more points than bloody Clune because it doesn't seem to have any sort of logic applied to the point scoring system, does it?
I honestly think it's a random number generator at this point.
Yeah,
as long as you play, you've got a shot.
So yeah, I don't think we're going to be playing much Vunu, but I think we've got
the other Fantasy Super League is underway, which actually I've not even checked who scored the points this weekend.
I think when I checked last night, you were on higher than me, but I don't think yesterday's games have gone on yet.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll have a live view on the pod later on and have a see.
Yeah, this will be where we cut to some iPhone footage of us actually checking this out and see if they're back on there. And I guess this kind of is something that draws in that Lee Huddersfield game, and also, actually, to be fair, all bar St Helens, really.
Yeah, the St Helens London game were the only game.
Let's just say the very strong addiction between referees and cards that have started this season. What do we think? Do we agree with this heavy-handed start?
I think it's not. I actually feel the people I feel sorry for the most is probably the refs, because naturally they get within the ground they get the backlash. With fans at home, it's, well, why is he sending him off for that? But the refs, these new rules are in, and the refs have got to enforce them at the end of the day. It is not the refs' fault. And I do think, we saw, outside of the Ligue Sau red card, I actually thought, to be fair, Moore refereed quite well in the whole derby, and it was clear. And I think he made the right decisions on all the cards outside of the Ligue Sau one, potentially. That's the only
I don't know, I think the Sau one was probably more justified than some of the others.
But I think, Pele had to go. SAS were probably a yellow card based on the rest of the weekend, definitely.
It's not necessarily that I disagree with any of those cards being given.
Yeah.
And in fact, I think this is generally across the game. There's not too many you look at and think. It's more firstly what's not given.
Yeah.
Which I think now we've got video at every game is becoming a very pitiful excuse, frankly. Because while I can appreciate the ref can't always see these things, he's got video that's supposedly got all these high-tech angles to see everything. Well, at that point, then this is on the video ref, not the on-field to make that call, and they're just, frankly, not... They're failing a duty of care to not discipline those.
Yeah, that's when it comes... It's almost like we're almost getting to the point of football with a VAR where it's like... You see, it's like that Franklin Pele swinging arm. That was not penalised at the point. If they don't scrap afterwards, the game goes on.
This is what's stupid, and this is, I'm going to call Sky out here for this as well. They're showing all the Pele sees red for the swinging arm, yet he got sent off for the punch in the fight, which they don't put on the replay. It's brain dead.
Yeah, it's a bit... And I think... I was thinking this on Friday night when watching the Leeds game. Like that Momirovski yellow card, the referee, if Atkin doesn't go down injured, does the video referee check that?
Well, I've got two things there. Firstly, I think that's probably one of the more... Personally, that's one of the harsher ones because the player's lost the ball and relaxed.
Yeah, it probably is. It probably is.
I think if he keeps that ball, that context in an entirely different place.
Probably so, yeah.
Which, if you're already committed to a challenge... You do so anticipating a Super League player is going to catch a pretty basic ball. Yeah. If he then drops it, that's kind of... And you're too late to pull out.
That is definitely one of the harsher ones, yeah.
I think Burroughs was very harsh.
Yeah.
He kind of was the victim for me of persistent holding down. But what annoys me more is you had Singleton and McDonald commit a professional foul, not the other end of the pitch 2 minutes earlier, that Aaron Moore was just like, we don't want to enforce professional fouls anymore. Don't care about that.
Yeah, it did. That one did seem very harsh, and I think that game was weird with the where the cards were working and stuff. And
again, you've got to ask Thaler as video ref, who will have seen that professional foul. Why is he not the one calling that?
Well,
this is where Moore's running back to the 20 and maybe hasn't got his head pointing in the right direction.
Can that's the thing? Can the video ref actually stop the game if it's played on? Obviously, he's looked at certain...
But the ball wasn't in play, though, was it, at the time? Because it was going for the 20 metre.
Yeah, but even in a normal tackle... Like, for example, in a normal tackling situation, could he have stopped it? Even Momirovski does that. The ref's not given anything, it's just a knock-on. If Atkin just gets up and says, fair play, decent hit, does the video ref still get to intervene and watch it again? It's almost like as if... We kind of got the idea when you're in stadium, when we was at the whole derby, it almost seemed like just because the game had stopped and replay were on screen, Moore's just looking up at screen and saying, well, actually, and obviously there's more going on. But
this
within
was
the stadium, that's what it looks like.
This was the same at Leeds.
Yeah,
as well.
I can imagine. Yeah.
But then, if we're doing that, I almost think, do we end up again to draw the VAR comparisons to the potential offside goal thing? Have we got to let the set conclude and then go back and apply any cards that are deemed appropriate based on looking at the thing? Because one extra set of having the player on the pitch is over an 80 minutes not going to make a massive difference.
But I think they'd have to do it based on the tackle. Because, like, for example, video ref, forever, when there's been a try, the video ref will only look at the last tackle. Like, for example, if there's been an infringement 3 tackles ago, that doesn't count against the try, only the last tackle.
No, but if there's a big hit in the set and you see that's happened...
But I think within rugby league, it's easy enough. If there's a big hit and a player's there and the ref's like, actually, I don't know where that was, and kind of just goes, up, video ref, bosh. And I think that could actually be done quite swiftly.
All I'm going to say is we don't have this problem in Union with the TMO, so it's perfectly possible.
But the thing with Union is they've done this clampdown a few years ago, and now you watch a Union game and it's like they're getting sent off for like literally doing nothing.
I don't necessarily think that Union have got the bounce right on the tackle team, but in terms of the involvement of the replays to officiate the game within the laws they have set the referees. Because again, I'm going to talk Cass Wigan now. Was Liam Watts a red? I don't know. I actually think Westerman looks to make the worst contact of the two.
I think if that's a yellow, no one's really complaining.
If that's a yellow, no one complains. This one, I know it wound a lot of Castleford fans up, and I actually sympathise with them, which is not a sentence I say very often. You've got Jack Smith in the video, who after me saying all this and criticising the video refs, tells the on-field official Harry Smith should get a red card for a spear tackle. Tom Grant gives a yellow.
Yeah.
What's the point of having video refs to look at these? It's all good me and everyone else saying they need to be more involved, but the official needs to actually listen to them. It's a two-way system.
Yeah, it seems.
And actually, if there's a heavy ban for that spear tackle, which I imagine there will be, and this is almost going to be the perfect segue into the World Club Challenge, which you won't miss.
I'm going to have to transfer him out of my fantasy team. Imani, Pape, bloody hell, tough start.
That's your transfers used for a month. But if he's going to get a lengthy ban for that suggests it should have been a red, what retrospective action is being placed on Mr. Grant for ignoring the correct call? Because I can guarantee you he'll just swan out to a Super League game next week like nothing's happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
And as much as refs make mistakes in the moment, we accept that. If he's specifically told by his video who's seen the replay to give an action, and he overrules that, that's not a mistake, that's a deliberate action.
Yeah.
To overrule a fellow professional's call.
Well, yeah, it kind of
that becomes devious then.
Yeah.
And there's far too many fans that will just blast around the brown envelope theory. That's absolutely not what's happened here.
No, it's just
But you are raising the question of, is there an unconscious bias towards certain teams?
Yeah, it's all. I think that game is the game that's. I mean, the other games have gone on the Thursday, the Friday games, and everyone's kind of said, right, well, evidently they're clamping down a lot more, but there was never.
There's nothing you look at that's overly controversial.
Inconsistency was not necessarily there, whereas it seems that from this game yesterday, the Cass Wigan game, that this incident has blown it all into. Well, if they're not going to be consistent with it, then we can't do it. Because before, you in ground, you probably thought that Momirovski one's harsh, but it's but then realistically, Brearley probably shouldn't have been sin-binned in first half by that logic. So at least they're being relatively consistent. Whereas this has just blown it completely out of proportion. Because
you've then got Cade Ellis, who hits a very similar height challenge on. It might have even been Hooley again. Actually, he took a bit of a batter in that game, and he didn't get anything.
Yeah, and then that's when you...
And then, we can talk consistent from game to game, because then you look at what Crowther was sin-binned for at Warrington, and that was honestly one of the most pathetic cards I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of them, aren't we, though? A lot of... And that's why I do feel sorry for the refs, but again, Grant...
I mean, you didn't catch yesterday's game, did you?
No, so...
At the end of this pod, watch Crowther's sin-bin, and... Like I said, they went to the on-field review, and this is the other problem I think we've got here.
Well, should I get it up on my phone now?
You do this while I'm having this little rant. You've got this on-field review thing where the refs look at it and in the ground you see like 15 billion replays of it. You've almost then got this pressure that the refs got to give something to warrant stopping the game and ruining the flow for so long. And you kind of end up with this question of, is it a red, is it a yellow? And I don't really get it. I really don't. Because half of these challenges are not worth the cards that they're written on. Have you found it?
Oh, what, really?
Do you see what I mean?
It's almost like an accidental head clash, that, isn't it? Almost. It's
You know,
like,
we were saying Union, they were getting sent off for basically sneezing on the wrong part of the body.
Yeah, I don't agree with that one. I think that ends harsh. The way he goes down probably is what ends up getting him that.
But then again, and this is what we've seen for years, because I don't know if it's practicing their mimes on the street of Paris or whatever, but that French team are bloody good actors when it comes to injuries. I mean, for their physio, honestly, get him checked, the reincarnation of Jesus Christ for the amount of healing he does.
God's sake, man. Oh, dear.
Should we jump into the World Club Challenge with that? So moving on then to part 2 of this, which is the World Club Challenge. So if you just had a bit of a weird cut there, we did have the camera randomly die, so IT experts we had to become and fix things. So yeah, there you go. Try-Time Podcast can fix things better than the RFL. That's what we've basically established here.
That's the title of the pod.
It's probably going to be something about the land down under. And yeah, World Club Challenge preview. I guess the first question is, are we both on the same team and who we think will win?
I mean, I think... Don't you think last year's World Club Challenges kind of reignited the World Club Challenge in this country? Because I feel like we went a few years before that where it was just obvious that the English team were going to lose. Whereas the fact that the Aussies seem to have, or not necessarily the Aussies, just Penrith specifically, seem to have kind of put it to the back of their priority list, especially last season against Saints, which obviously led to Saints winning, kind of has made us all a bit hopeful that the English team can actually win. And that is why I'm going to say I think Wigan do it at home. This current Wigan team,
I would love Wigan to win. But I think for kind of that reason, Penrith will be too fired up and focused on revenge and they'll come through with the win.
I mean, the missing players though.
So Wigan.
Yeah.
No Smith, no Thompson.
Well, do we think is Smith going to be banned for that?
100%.
Do you think he'll be banned by then? I know RFL love a week late ban, don't they?
Well, it will be because the rest of the team playing Super League, aren't they? So they'll have to get the bans in place for the respective round. So Smith will be banned for that.
And then it's like, what's your halfback combination?
French and Hampshire.
Yeah, which isn't the worst in the world, but...
Ryan Hampshire is a very useful squad player to have, but I don't think he's a 7 at World Club Challenge level.
Whereas
and I think he'll even be the first to tell you that he's no... I mean, I know he's also out, but he's no Jerome Luai.
Yeah, no, that's right. Yeah. But I guess if Luai and Cleary aren't playing, then...
Which Cleary is a massive loss for them, don't get me wrong.
Well, he's the best player. He's the best player in world rugby, and let's be real, really.
Quite probably, yeah.
I mean, I know, like, you got to look at I mean, a player like Mitch Suter definitely runs him close, but...
You do realise anyone who's watching this in Australia is just thinking, who the fuck's that kid?
Nah, they'll know him. He's one of the brightest prospects to come out of Canberra. Canberra's New South Wales Cup team, should I say. But no, I do think they are. Cleary is obviously massive, and Luai, his dynamic running game is like something that we don't necessarily have over here. So I think.
But Brad Schneider kicked Wigan to the sword in the semi-final playing for Hull KR. What's he going to do with Penrith back around?
Oh, it's not like they've not got a replacement that's good enough to give Wigan a good game.
His Golden Point Heartaches could potentially crush Wigan Hearts for a second year running.
Well, yeah, true. I mean, that's the one thing that probably OK are missing for is his bloody kicking game. Off at tea. I mean, we all know about that nightmare that it was on Thursday.
I purposely didn't touch on Peter Eku's conversion.
But
you know what? I mean, in fairness, Batchelor probably isn't the starting kicker.
No, but apparently, them two have had a kicking competition in training. It's only out of them two, even though they've got Minchella, who kicked ample amount of times for Bradford.
This is meant to be the World Club Challenge preview. I'm sure we'll see Hiku's conversion attempt many times when we edit it into various stuff this season.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Because it's got to be one of the funniest things
It's
anyone's
up
ever seen.
there. It's like the modern day Ryan Atkins dive in the corner.
Yes.
But yeah, anyway, World Club Challenge. Are you thinking Penrith then?
I'm thinking Penrith. I think they'll be too fired up after losing last year, and as much as I don't agree with this, there is obviously the stigma that Australian rugby and NRL is so much better than what we've got, which to the extent it is, it's true because they've got twice as much money. But anyway, they will not want the shame almost of having to go back to Australia having lost to the English 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
I would love them to, don't get me wrong, I will be cheering for Wigan when the game is on.
Yeah,
which
definitely.
is not a sentence I have said very often in my life.
Well, no, I mean, cheering for Saints last year as well, it's like a
That-
Rhinos fan nightmare for you, that, isn't it, really? But
I'm cheering for Penrith, actually.
oh, yeah. Well, that went well for you, didn't it?
I was happy the English won, I just was quite was back in Penrith. But,
Yeah.
you know, no hard feelings, eh?
But it's interesting just how this game's going to go. Because like you say, Wigan, a full strength Wigan team, I think, do it. But, you know, if there's no Thompson, no Smith, I mean, you just...
I think you potentially live without Thompson on his own just because of how many good
props
players are in that
they've
pack.
got, yeah. But even no Walters and stuff, and I think Woody got a look in, and you know, there's a few missing for this Wigan team, and it worries me for him for this game. But I mean, I think it'll be a close game. I don't think either team's going to run away.
Both of
with
them
it.
are going to be up for it, yeah.
Yeah, so
it's going to be a great game to watch.
But my worry is like teams coming over to England. I mean, it's hard to the World Cup. Sorry, I mean I'd ignore that, but like I'm even looking at Tonga coming over here. They're just, you know, the names were there, but the players just couldn't seem to get up for it. And I'm worried is this going to be the similar thing with this Penrith team.
But then I feel like they're more invested in the prize, and also this is ultimately trophy on the line, not. No, it's not a pointless 3-match test series that doesn't really achieve anything.
I mean, it would. I think it were good. It were good for English rugby.
It were good for English rugby, but what was the prize for Tonga to be really chasing and motivated? I think Tonga's bigger disappointment, and actually was a precursor. This was their poor World Cup,
which was obviously like the year prior. Yeah.
But when you look at when Samoa came over, who had the names, and because there was, you go to Newcastle, 2 teams went through. They'd only just got over a bit of jet lag. They walked it.
Yeah.
When a place on the final in that historic moment, there was something on the line, everyone stepped up.
Yeah, and that was one of the best games of rugby that probably. I mean, I've probably ever been to be honest, live.
There is something on the line here, and you know it will be a fantastic game. And do you know what? The atmosphere at the DW is fantastic.
Sell out as well. Which
I remember when many years ago we sold out the World Club Challenge against Manly, and it was atmospherically one of the best games of rugby I've ever been to in the Old South Stand.
Well, that one I'm going to say because I remember going.
We had a few at Ellen Road, but that one was at Headingley.
I did go,
and we sold it out, and it was packed. It was honestly one of the best atmospheres I'd been to. So for the Wigan fans at home, for hearing that, that's going to be the exact same emotions that I had back then.
Yeah. Oh, it's going to be weird for Wigan. I mean, Wigan are going to have obviously a lot of people in there. Some neutrals will be in there, obviously. But like having it packed where there's no away, it's packed. But usually, obviously, you'd have an away end. There's not really going to be that. And I imagine majority of English fans are going to cheer for Wigan, and it's kind of going to be a good.
Well, I'm gutted that I can't go, frankly.
Yeah, I'm going to say it'll be a good one to watch on. I think this is the sort of thing that watching this on Sky is what could bring in some new viewers potentially.
It's also on free to air.
Yeah.
It's on the BBC, which is potentially going to be massive as well.
They really are. I mean, this is kind of away from World Cup times, but I do think based on just 1 week of the season, the games on telly, the amount of promotion that the game seems to be getting is really positive.
We're going head to head with Ant and Dec. Like, does that not tell you Rugby League has made it?
Well,
and how many people are bloody sick of them two?
My worry is, I mean, it's 8 o'clock kick-off, and I know you've got Ant and Dec Saturday night takeaway. Then you've got, for people who've got Sky and your neutral you've got. I know there's some late night. Arsenal Newcastle's on, a late night.
Is that who it's
football
up
match.
against?
Yeah, 8 o'clock, which usually you wouldn't have on a Saturday night Premier League game, but the way it's fallen, there is.
They've done that on
Sky.
purpose, haven't they?
So then you've got that on Sky as well as obviously World Cup Challenge on Sky and BBC, and it's like. So they are going up against other stuff, but being on BBC, how many people, or bloody people who don't have Sky, lob on BBC on a night, or just scrolling through channels, oh, there's some rugby on. I mean,
how many old folk, or however it is, I just think, God, I'm sick of seeing Ant and Dec's face on everything, go. I just think, oh, I'll put rugby on.
Well, exactly, that's what I mean. I mean, should be catching it, and I'm looking forward to it. I mean, in fact, it's on BBC's even better, actually.
Yeah, it's better for the sport. I don't know whose coverage I'll watch. It depends if Jonathan Davies pops up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for me, I probably have football on Sky and that on. I'll figure out a way to watch both.
I'm gonna say the Arsenal fan who wants to watch his team, whereas I don't personally care about that game.
No, you wouldn't. But I think, I do just think they're doing a lot of positive stuff with the coverage. It being, I know people complained about stuff like, why did they show scores of a game? I wanted to watch it straight afterwards.
I don't need scores at a game. I've got a co-presenter that spoils them for me.
Right. So he's at Rhino's game. Obviously, how do I know that? Usually, I've been to Rhino's games, right? They announce the scores like at half time and stuff.
No, they don't.
They always do. They do
not.
that. They do that at every rugby game I've ever been to, by the way. Other games, he's
We've not done that at Headingley for an absolute dog. It's normally people
have.
at stand that announce it.
So I'm thinking, right, that game's finished. All games are finished. Huddersfield have beat Leeds. Big shock. So I messaged, that's a really good result for Huddersfield. I didn't see that coming. And he's like, why have you spoiled it? We're going to watch it in the morning. But I'm like, were you staying off all social media? Really though?
Yes.
Like,
Considering I got back after that game at 11 o'clock at night, that was quite an easy thing to do.
For it though, like
yes, 'cause I'm not addicted to my phone.
Sorry, you do run a rugby league Twitter account though, technically with the podcast.
Yeah, I just wasn't going to log in that night.
Fair enough.
But
I mean, it didn't matter in the end anyway, did it?
No. But anyway.
But yeah, I think people will just moan about anything. I think is what I've seen from it. I mean, moaning at them result. Yeah, don't get me wrong. It's probably not the most ideal.
But have you not seen that St Helens played music in the interludes?
I know. What's wrong with that? I mean, I've seen that, but us do that at Oddsall before. Like, it's not like.
I mean, it can be cheesy. Don't get me wrong. It depends what they're playing. But
I mean,
this is a genuine question actually, and I'm going to kind of probably end this entire segment on this in a way. Does anyone know what version of the rules we're actually playing?
In the World Club Challenge.
Are we on Super League? Are we on NRL? Are we on International?
I mean, if we're on
does this mean that everyone's getting sent off and it's going to be like 5 against 6 by end of game?
I mean, if Penrith won't be happy if it's new rules, because imagine they're definitely going to get a few players in bin, and then if they get bans for their season.
If it's new rules, everyone's going to be off pitch. It's going to become nines, which Penrith are good at because they have that down under.
Well, true, yeah.
It becomes imagine a Rugby League Nines for World Club Challenge.
Why not? Why not have that sort of as like a pre-season little? I mean, I want to have top 4 Super League, right, and top 4 NRL. Give me some form of like Champions League. That'd be the dream.
Well, we've got to meet halfway, so that'll be when Saudi's coming.
Yeah, but you could have it as like
Saudi showdown, Rugby League Nines.
I think we should have a Super League Nines. I think that'd be amazing. Even include Championship and just have it like a celebration of Rugby League over like over a week, even if it's just over a weekend, and have sort of 30 odd teams in it.
Well, what would you do? 32.
32 teams in it, and then do it like.
Have we got enough?
A few groups and then knock it down. You know how many groups is that? That'll be 8 groups, won't it? This
is going to be like 1895, and we're having to find random. Egremont, you're in.
Yeah.
We'll pull some strings.
With Egremont, yeah.
We couldn't go a whole podcast without mentioning you guys. Our affiliate club for 2024, Egremont Rangers.
Right, so I think if you did 32 teams, 8 groups of 4, and then just goes into a last 16 after the top 2 go through with groups. Everyone plays each other once. It's 9s at the end of the day. Would you not go to that if it?
Yes.
And you could have like bloody Rhinos against Cornwall or something in group state. Like it'd just be good fun.
Jesus Christ.
Have it.
We'll see what round 6 it brings.
Hold that at like Etihad or something over a weekend, and you're absolutely laughing.
Well, yeah, I won't put it in Truro.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, They don't really have a ground. I think that'd. I mean, how many people would you get to that?
What down? Well, you have to do it. I don't even know what you do. You have to do it like bloody Plymouth, but that's wrong county.
Well, yeah, true.
Anyway, we've got very distracted, which probably tells it's time to wrap this one up.
Yeah, potentially a shorter one compared with the last few, and this is we're at half century.
We are. So thank you for sticking with us. Sorry it's taken years.
Yeah.
We'll be back with number 100.
That's probably lined up to
Probably season preview 2025.
Yeah.
We'll just have to pull some strings and get a players prediction as well.
Yeah, we'll get a player on for that. I mean, we've got stuff in pipeline anyway coming up this season, so it's exciting times for the podcast actually.
This is going to be a much better year.
Yeah, the channel in general.
IMG have got to us.
Yeah, they have. We are
IMG.
Sport. Yeah, we are. We are. Yeah. Well, that'd be a turn up for books, that would if we're IMG fucking.
Well, when Castle does feel good, damn, you know I'm IMG.
Yeah, but Bulls are up on IMG then, aren't they?
Well, you'll put them second.
Yeah.
I'm not having a medal late.
Yeah, well,
anyway, thanks for sticking with us. Thanks for getting to the point of this podcast, and
yeah, thanks for the support on all the stuff on the channel as well. To be fair, all the previews have done amazingly. Like we couldn't have imagined when we came back in November the love that we've got and all the everything, basically the support, everything. It's been great. So.
And stick around with the channel if this is your first time watching, because on Saturday we've got another one of the Try Time specials, the kit videos. We go down under and continue our Australian theme with the NRL best and worst. And you get to see two idiots that don't really watch much Australian rugby predict the NRL. So that will be a fantastic laugh for everyone involved.
That's next week's pod, yeah, so stay tuned for that one.
Yeah. And until then, guys, thanks for joining. See you later.
See you in a bit.